Welcome, Sawdust Startups, to Etsy 101. Now, why would you want an Etsy store? Well, if you remember in the previous module when I talked about why does the food truck sit outside the construction site? Supply and demand. There is a demand there for it. This is where a lot of customers come to find handmade products. And if the customer's already there, it just makes sense to put a store there to attract those customers. Now, there is some things you need to know about Etsy to make it successful, because just because you post or make an Etsy store doesn't mean people are going to come there. There's a lot of things that are really important on setting up your store correctly, setting up your listings correctly. And so we're going to go through that in this module. This may be broken down into two if it goes a little long, because I want it to be in bite-sized pieces for you so you don't get overwhelmed. First thing we got to do is set up the store. So you're going to go to Etsy.com. Simply Etsy.com. And then from there, there's a sign-in button. If you already have a sign-in, you can use that. But if you don't, you can just use this register button right there. So I'm going to go ahead and register, and then I'll be right back. So I've registered using my email and got me a password set up. Now you're just going to click this little icon up here in the top, and this is your profile. So you can scroll down and see Etsy registry, which is like wedding registries. That's not what we want. We want sell on Etsy. You're going to go ahead and click that. Now, it's going to just basically walk you through step-by-step setting up your store. Now, follow their directions and make sure that you don't skip anything, but I'm going to give you some tips along the way. Now, they do offer a few tips and advice here. So if you're trying to decide what to sell, maybe your shop naming and branding you're having trouble figuring out, or you've never sold online, you need some help with that. Getting photos, because photos are important. You can use some of this stuff to help kind of set you up along the way. We'll just go selling online. Now you're going to set up your shop preferences here depending on where you're at in the world. Here we're doing English in the United States. We're using the US dollar to set that up. Now you can see that there's like a timeline across here, and we're going to follow this timeline to set everything up like it's supposed to be. Once we have this set, there's really nothing else to do. We can just go on to name our shop. Now, whatever your name of your shop is going to be, you can name it. If it's the name of your business, which is what I did when I started, 731 Woodworks. So I typed in Sawdust just to show you if the name is already taken, it will let you know that that name is taken. You can't use it. So we're going to go on and see if Startups is available. Nope, it is not available. All right, so it gave me a suggestion. I'm just going to use Sawdust by Matt for my store name. All right, from there, they're going to want you to create a listing right off the bat. You're going to start jumping into this, and this is where I want you to pay attention, because when you create an Etsy listing, there's some things that you do that set you up for the best possible results for success. Because Etsy, let me break for here for a minute. Etsy is a search engine. So like when you go to Google and you type in best restaurant in your town or best steakhouse in Atlanta, whatever you're typing, it's a search engine. And so what it's doing is it's basically an AI. It's an algorithm. It's figuring out what is to best serve you as the customer. Etsy's no different. When they go to Etsy and search cutting board, they want to surface the product and the listings that are most likely to get a sale, because Etsy's in the business of making money. That's why they're there. And you are too. You're in the business of making money. So if you can set your listings up for the best success possible, that's what we want to do. Now, it's going to start out with your photos of your listings. This is one of the most important things that you can pay attention to here. So we're going to start adding some photos of some things that I already have on as products goes, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I want to sell my board butter on my Etsy store. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right back into this listing, and we're going to start adding photos. And the way we do that is just click the Add the Photo button. I'm going to go find my products. You just got them saved in a file. We got board butter here. Let's go with the 6-packs. I like those. And so one thing you want to do is when you make your product photos, you want those things to look nice. You want them to really stand out among the competition. So good lighting, make sure you're taking good photos with your camera. You can use your cell phone. That's all I've used to take all of these product photos, this little iPhone right here. So you can use what you've got to set up yourself for success. Now, you do want clear photos so that your customers can see what you're doing. So when you add the photo, all you're going to do is just literally click Add Photo and just continue to add one. Now, you do want to make sure you get 10 photos in here. You want to use every slot available, because it matters. If you only put 2 or 3, it can cause you to rank a little lower than somebody that has all of their product listing filled out properly. So we're going to make sure we go through and add all the photos that we've got of our product. Now, what you're wanting to do is the one that's down here on the bottom, the lower one. That's your featured photo. In other words, when somebody searches board butter or wood conditioner, this product photo is the one that's going to show on the homepage, and the rest will show up when they click through. So you want to make sure you get everything nice and centered up, make sure it's lined up, make sure it looks nice, and then click save. Now, on my photos, I made sure that I've got this is the actual product photos on Faith Valley Tools website. It's because it's high contrast. I've got a dark can on top of light wood, and it just contrasts well. It's well lit, good product photos, in my opinion, and they do sell well for us. So, also, one thing Etsy does love you to do is to add a 100 megabyte or max file size video, and it's 5 to 15 seconds long. You can edit this in a ton of different editing softwares. If you don't know of any, check out Canva or something like that, canva.com. You can put a video in there and just make it less than 15 seconds, and then you can get it out of there. Let me show you how to do that. All right, this is canva.com. All you have to do is go here. There's actually some templates that are right across the top here. One says video. Just going to click on video. It's going to open up this new tab. All right, so I'm here on Canva. I just dropped this video in, literally just drag and drop off of your files from your computer. I'm going to expand this to make sure that it fills the screen up just like that. Now, this is a before and after that I did with my board butter. And you'll see that I've got footage of it being applied, and then also I take the tape off to show, what it looks like before and after. So that's a good product demonstration video. However, I can only be 15 seconds, and this video is over a minute long. So we got to do a little bit of adjusting here. You can trim the ends by just grabbing one side and pulling it where you need it to, and you'll see it kind of start moving as you do that. So I've dropped this into Canva here, and it's very, very simple video editor. There's better, more powerful programs out there, but I just want to show you how you can get it done quickly and easily. Drop this in there, and I'm literally going to make this a couple of different clips with the same clip. So it's too long. It's over a minute long. So what I'm doing is dragging this along, and I want to make sure where it starts, that's where it starts at right there when I'm applying the board butter. And I'm going to do this click over here till I see that it's fairly covered, and then we're going to shorten that to that. I'm just going to add another page. We're going to drag and drop the same clip onto this page. Make sure that it fills the screen exactly the same. It'll all snap into place, so that's not difficult at all. And then I want to go to where I'm removing the tape right there. Now I'm going to add another page. I'm going to draw that right back again. So all I got to do is keep this to about 15 seconds or under 15 seconds. So the idea is to kind of showcase your product. You can make a couple of different video clips, drag those all on there. But if you only have one clip like this is a good way to just kind of edit it down. And I want that final shot to be me placing the board butter can on top, just like that. Now you can see right on the bottom, right down here, it shows how long this video is. It's only 14 seconds, which is... All right, so we want this to kind of be short and sweet because people aren't really just spending a whole lot of time watching videos on Etsy. We just want to kind of showcase your product, no matter if it's a cutting board or some type of other woodworking projects. You're just taking short video clips showing a few different angles, the different things you can do with it, etc. So like this one, I've shortened it up even more. It was 14 seconds, now it's 7. I've cut it in half, because it doesn't need a bunch of context here. It's just going to show wiping the board butter on, removing that tape, and then showing the before and after, and then me setting that can on there. Once we render this out, you just watch it a couple times, make sure it's how you like it. Once we, what I call render, once you download it, it'll look just like this all in one. Now, you can literally or take the audio out of this, but it doesn't really matter because Etsy's not going to show your audio anyway. In the top right corner, you're going to click share and then download. It should be show MP4 video, which is what you want, and then all 3 pages or however many clips you've put in there. That's how many pages will be there. You'll just click download. It'll download to your computer. And then we can go over to our Etsy listing and go down to this video right here, and then just click on the play button and then find your video and upload it. I've saved mine in my downloads folder. It doesn't have to be titled or anything like that. You can see it's 7 seconds. It'll automatically upload it. It'll do what it needs to do on that end. And then once it's complete, you'll be able to see it there, watch it back, etc., and make sure it's what you want for your listing. Okay, there it is. Let's see what we got. We hit the play button. See no sound. Just kind of gives you a general idea of your product. I like it. We're going to leave that one. Now we're going to get into the meat and taters of Etsy. It's like the core part of Etsy. What makes your product show up are your titles and what they call keywords. So what people are searching for, what Etsy wants to serve the right customer to the right product. So right here is where we're going to get kind of specific on what we've got. We have a wood conditioner. It's called board butter. but not everybody is searching for board butter. What are they actually looking for? So if they're looking for a customized cutting board, it's probably going to need to be your first few words in there, or whatever your specific product is. For instance, on this, we're going to go with organic wood finish. And then I like to put one of these little, it's not an I, it's right beside under the delete key, right above the slash. You'll like hit shift and whatever that little bar is called. I don't know what it's called. Do you? So organic wood finish. Then we're going to go with wood conditioner, food safe wood finish. And you have a lot of characters here. I like to keyword stuff my titles. It seems to work well for me. Some people like to just say, wood finish and be gone. But I like that there's several different things that Etsy can pick up on here and serve the customer. It's worked very well for us, and I'm going to continue doing it until it does not work anymore. So anything you can kind of think of around this. And then on the end, we'll put board butter because some people may search for that. But that's what we're going to do. And then about the listing, who made it? It's going to want you to know who made it. Was it you? Most of the time that should be you, but it could be a member of your shop or another company if you're doing drop shipping on like T-shirts, things like that. What is it? This is a finished product, or is it a supply or tool to make things? This is a supply or tool to make things. So I'm going to use that. And then when did you make it? It's going to want to know if it's made to order, if it's a current product, etc. In our case, we keep stock of this, so it will be a recently made product, and this will always update, so you don't have to worry about that. But the made to order thing is if you're building custom products that you're going to make to order. Even when I have my stove covers, though, that we're making those to order, I always put current because you want to make sure there's always stock on your store. So on the category, we're going to type in board butter because that's what I am making. If you're doing cutting boards or anything like that, you can put that there, and you'll see categories pop up. So we'll do cutting boards just so I can show you. You need to pick the correct category because the category matters how Etsy's going to put you in their listings. So make sure you're putting the right spot. So like cutting boards, you can see it's home and living, kitchen and dining, cookware, cutting boards. That would be the correct category for that, and not necessarily down here in trays and planters. See what I mean? So, but ours is board butter. So I want to type in board butter, and it should bring up right here. Home and living, kitchen and dining, cookware, cutting boards. It is for cutting boards. Is it a cleaning product? Not really. It doesn't really clean it. It conditions it. It's a moisturizer, but not for bath and beauty. So you want to make sure to pick the right category. It would even fit under the cheese and charcuterie board category, but I want it under cutting boards. So, and then the next thing, it's going to know what material it's made out of. If it applies, you can put that there. If it doesn't, then don't. Don't put anything in there that doesn't apply. So if it was a wood cutting board, it would be wood. Next thing you want to do is choose colors if color matters on your product. So if you're selling a red, white, and blue flag, then you need to put red, white, and blue here because somebody might search for red flag or yellow flag or whatever you're making. Any primary colors, you can put those in. If there's special occasions, so if you build things for Mother's Day, birthdays, anniversaries, Christmas, bachelorette parties, you can see all of the divorce and breakup. I mean, that's terrible. If you look through here, there's a bunch of different occasions you can tag if you make that specific product for that reason. So that doesn't apply here. And then, of course, there's holidays on there as well. Now, on renewal options, what this means is it will automatically renew the listing. In other words, charge you, I think it's 20 cents per listing. It'll automatically renew that listing every single time it comes due. I think it's every 3 months. Or you can do it manually, and it'll go basically unlist the thing. I highly recommend you just do automatic listings if you plan on being on Etsy for any length of time. And then if it's a physical or digital product, ours is a physical product in this case. All right, the description matters a bunch on Etsy because, like I told you, Etsy was a search engine, and so they're using keywords or what we call keywords in your description, and all that means is words that are associated to your product. A keyword is a word that people generally search for or is trending and that sort of thing. So I've typed this out before, but I'll show you. I'll just read a couple of lines of it. Outlaws board butter, because that's one of our keywords, is an organic wood finish. See, there's another keyword using food safe ingredients. So you can see that this all ties into my title up here. Organic wood finish, wood conditioner, food safe, wood finish, board butter. So you want to make sure that you're kind of stacking these keywords, but the sentences have to make sense because you're writing to humans and not robots. While the algorithm is kind of a robot, it's picking up on these things. It knows what types of words to look for. The people reading this are humans, so you need to make sure that you're typing this out in easy to understand language, that you're not just using just like, I mean, if I just put board butter, wood finish, food safe, like that doesn't make sense. But when you put it in a sentence, Outlaws board butter is an organic wood finish using food safe ingredients. So that way you can kind of start, it's just easier to understand that way. And so all the way down through there, you'll see 100% food safe. Wood cutting boards is in there. Anything that you're kind of targeting. Our board butter is designed to retain the natural beauty and hydration of wood. Again, using those keywords, wood is a keyword, board butter. We're also using mineral oil and beeswax, so we're make sure that we're describing what the ingredients are, and then our wood finish. Again, you just kind of go through there and make sure you write out a couple of paragraphs. You want it to be a few paragraphs long. You don't want to just like 2 sentences and then move on. This really does matter. If you have a production partner, you can add those there. That should not apply to most of us unless you have like drop shipping on t-shirts, etc., which we could talk about later if you're interested. But that really, you should just skip on and move that. Now, tags is another very important thing on Etsy. Tags on YouTube doesn't matter. What is a tag? A tag is another way to describe your product or repeat how we're describing our product. And you should use what is described as long tail keywords. In other words, there's 2 or 3 words together. So I'm going to go with organic wood finish. You type it out, hit enter. It will add that keyword. You can do 13 of those. And what I like to do is go ahead and reinforce that this is board butter. Go ahead and then reinforce that this is a wood conditioner. Anything that would apply to your product, you want to add that keyword here. So if you're making cutting boards, make sure you put cutting boards, walnut and maple cutting board, whatever it would help describe what somebody might be searching for. That's what you want to put here. And you want to make sure to use all 13. Don't leave any out. Think, brainstorm around your product idea, what you could put here, because again, all of this stuff kind of adds up. Your title, your description, and your tags. If you add all of those up, you have all the same things kind of talking about the same thing. And it's a good way to help rank yourself in Etsy. Now, also in the tags is where you can kind of go a little bit off the beaten path here a little bit. I like to do this. So if somebody might search for a wood finish for walnut, like the walnut wood, I'll put walnut wood finish, maple wood finish, natural wood finish, stuff like that will really help you stand out in searches too, because this stuff will surface up in search. Though Etsy uses these tags to help you surface up in search. Now, I also like to add stuff, what it's actually going to be used for. So cutting board finish, charcuterie board finish, but charcuterie board finish is too many characters. You're only allowed 20 characters. So I'll just put charcuterie board on there. That way I still get that traction in that area. And then anything surrounding that market there that you can think of. You can also do what I always did with like stove covers was I would put anniversary gift in there as a tag. I would put Christmas gift in there as a tag. And Christmas gift ideas, anything that will fit, because you only got 20 characters, but put those tags in there surrounding the type of things you want to kind of target. So it doesn't necessarily have to be specifically about the product, but it can be like gift ideas, etc. So that's a good way to do it. Now, it's also going to want to know the ingredients or components. So if you're using maple walnut to make a cutting board, maple walnut Padauk, because certain people will search out those type items. So make sure that you're using those. So in our case, we're using beeswax and mineral oil. And that's where that'll kind of help to differentiate yourself. That's a big word. So, all right. So on pricing, you really need to price yourself competitively, but don't price yourself out of business. You don't want to be at the race for the bottom. So I wouldn't go to Etsy and look for cutting boards and find the cheapest one and then underprice them. That's not a good way to stand out. The good way to stand out is your product photos and your video, your description, your tags, your titles, etc. So set yourself up there. And then also just be competitive with your pricing. Make sure you're not way over everybody else and way under everybody else, and you should be fine. So if we're selling 6 packs of these, let's say we're going to sell them for $34.99, and that's what we want to price it at. It's $34.99. How many do we have in stock? I'm going to say 20. So whatever you have in stock. Now, I will tell you this. On the stove covers, I would always put like 3 or 4 in stock because I could build them in a couple of hours and get them shipped out within a couple of days. And so Etsy doesn't like you to run out of stock. If you're constantly running out of stock, what will wind up happening is you will lose your place in ranking. So from my experience. So you want to make sure you get stock. So if you're making cutting boards, you technically don't have 3 in stock, but you do have 1, or you're able to make one fairly quickly and get it shipped out quickly. That's where you want to keep these at a approachable level. So if somebody comes in and orders all 3, you could make those 3 or 5 or 10 or whatever you're capable of. You want to make sure that stock level is always full, or having stock on your Etsy store. Now, if you have any SKUs, you can add that. Basically, it's just a way you stock keeping unit. Most of us don't use those. And then, of course, you can add variations. So if you've got different wood materials you want to use for your stuff, for us, like if we wanted to do a 12-pack here on the same listing, we could do a 6 and a 12-pack. That's where you would do that. If you're offering personalization, you'll hit that tab. You do want to make sure you click personalization as optional unless it's something that has to be personalized. And then you want to give your customers exactly the directions they're going to need to get that customized, what you need from them, etc. You're going to put this right here. You have up to 256 characters, put that in there, and then you can add your personalization. So this kind of gives you an idea of, or it shows you exactly what the customer is going to see on the listing. And this is the instructions. So if you start typing here, that actually shows up over there. So if you need them to send me a message with your personalization. So then now they will type in there and tell you what they need. We're getting on shipping prices. I always do calculated for them because we're going to do free shipping in just a minute. You'll have to put your zip code on there. And this is your processing time. This is what I was talking about. If you need to add a few days of lead time, the more days you add, the harder it's going to be to get the sale. So if you put 5 to 7 days, people want stuff now. They don't want to wait. So the more the lead time you add on there will kind of hurt you a little bit. I always like to do 1 to 2 days. It's a fair amount of time. I know that I can get those boards made and out by then. So that's what I like to do. Now, when all countries is selected for where you'll ship on first launch here, I always like to deselect that and just go down into the North America tab and only select North America. I removed Canada. I removed all of the other international places because international shipping is very expensive and I don't really want to deal with that right now. So I just do North America. Now, I just will tell you that if you're shipping Canada or United States to Canada, it's going to be more expensive. Canada back to the United States, more expensive. Canada or United States over to Europe, really expensive. So just keep that in mind. If you're offering international shipping, it will cost quite a bit more. I like all of these are selected by default. I just select USPS priority, and that's going to also give me some discounts here because they have a deal with the Postal Service. And USPS just works for us. On the advanced shipping options, I select free shipping right here. Free domestic shipping. Why? Because Etsy prioritizes free shipping. If you don't offer free shipping, the other people who do will get served to the customer first. They come out with this a couple of years ago. It was a huge change. Well, that kind of feels like it's unfair on the person making the products. But here's the deal. You have to add the cost of shipping into your product. That's how we combated that. So if we're shipping from say here to California, it's going to cost us $50. So what we found out. But if we're shipping from here to Mississippi, Arkansas to Mississippi, it costs us $18. So we have to just kind of take a medium there. I think it was like $35 is what we added to all of our products on the listing price. It just upped it $35, then offer free shipping, and our sales went from kind of like that as soon as you start offering free shipping. So it's a very good idea. I don't like adding a handling fee. I think that if you got to have a handling fee in there, just add it to the cost of the product. And then if you're interested in FedEx shipping, there's an offer here as well you can take up. Now, you can save this as a shipping profile. I absolutely suggest you do that. And then we're going to call it free shipping. And what that profile is going to include is where you'll ship to and the cost of shipping. So United States only and free shipping. And what that's going to do is every time you make a new listing, you can just choose that profile and not have to go through all of that stuff again. We don't have any tariff number for customs, so we don't have to worry about that. So what's the weight? We're going to say our board butter weighs 2 pounds for a 6-pack. And then the package we're sending it in is 12 inches by 8 inches by 2 inches tall. And so that's going to give you the total price with free shipping was $34.99 because that was our listing price. And it says you can ship this to Chicago with an Etsy label for $8. So we kind of know that it gives you kind of a general idea of what it's going to cost to ship your product. Now, when you get to the bottom, it's going to want you to create some policies. In other words, return policies, etc. You can just click this Apply Simple Policy, and it will automatically set a basically 30-day money back guarantee type policy on there. And you don't really have to go through and tweak anything, but you can click on the change policy down there and go in and tweak whatever you want. I just like to leave it where it's at. Once we get down to the bottom, we're going to click save and continue, and it's going to save your listing. Now you can see your first listing. Woo! It's awesome. It's there. We're ready to go. Now, how will you get paid? That's the next thing. You can do this later. You can add more listings. We want to do that later. I want to go on to how do I get paid. You just click on that. Now, here's where you start adding in your business information or your bank account information, where you're located, all that stuff so that you can get your money, because that's why you're in business. If you're a business, you can select business. It's going to ask for like your tax ID. If you're operating as a individual, then you're just going to put your name, your social security number, all that stuff in there, and then connect your bank account if you should want to do that. But you're going to need to connect all of this stuff up so that you can get paid and you can pay your fees, because there's Etsy fees.